story time. If you can relate, please tell me in the comments. I started this channel along with another channel on another platform a few months ago under a different name, because at that time there was a topic that I was very hyper fixated on, and I use that word intentionally because I have ADHD, and when I get really interested in something, that's like all I talk about, to the point where people hear me mention it and they roll their eyes. And particularly if the topic is something sort of out there, it can make me sound a little bit crazy, let's just be honest. But it was a topic, and I'm not using the name right now intentionally because I want to focus on the principle here of the matter. What happened was that topic got to a burnout level for me, which is weird because this was in part a social issue that had negatively affected many people, and I was really not one of them. So it felt unfair to say that I was burnt out on supporting people. That wasn't it. There was something in my brain, there was a flip that switched, that suddenly something else was the shiny new thing, and then no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't find the same draw to this original thing that I was supposed to be focusing on in my social media. And it occurred to me that when I told friends and colleagues that I was going to be starting some new social media channels, I had a couple of topics in mind. This was one of them, and I got the most interest from people about this particular topic, which was ADHD, especially among women and among people over a certain age who may not have been diagnosed as kids. Our experiences are very different than people who may have grown up with the support that they needed, or even a diagnosis. And yet, because of my ADHD, I found myself instead focusing on that other thing that eventually I kind of got distracted and lost interest in to an extent. So it was kind of a funny way of the universe showing me, like, yeah, you really do need to focus on your ADHD, because until you do and get connected and support from others who are going through the same thing, you're going to keep having these same obstacles and stumbling blocks. And this isn't really a stumbling block, more it's just kind of embarrassing, like, wait, hey, what happened to that thing you said you were so passionate about? No, I still care about it, but do I have it within me to focus a whole entire TikTok channel, for example, on it? I don't think so. And it never really felt 100% comfortable for me to do that for a number of other reasons. So here I am again. If you followed me originally and you're not really into hearing what I have to say, even if sometimes I might go back to that original topic, it's okay. I won't be hurt or upset if you decide to unfollow or scroll on. But if you're hearing anything in my experience that resonates with you, and you sometimes feel alone in what you're going through, maybe because you suspect you may have something going on like ADHD but have never had a diagnosis, because after all, especially in the United States, even a diagnosis is a privilege. Access to mental health care and the affordability of it are a challenge. And there's also the stigmatization of mental health within certain populations. And I think that it's really important, as much as there is out there in terms of information and tips and hacks and solutions and suggestions, I think more than anything, it's important for those of us actually living the experience to see each other and connect with one another and know that we're not alone. So my intention here in sharing what's going on with me is to find out what are you going through? I really hope that you all will respond in the comments with your perspectives and experiences. And I hope that eventually there might be a way to springboard from this virtual world to the real world where people can meet in person and further end that isolation that comes from feeling alone in a particular experience, particularly that of those of us who are neurodivergent. So, what is my story? My story is that I'm a Gen X woman who was diagnosed with ADHD as a young adult and learned some things about it then, but for most of my adult life, haven't really had optimal treatment or support. And I've come to a juncture where I know that I can no longer ignore it because it has affected every aspect of my life. It's not something to be ashamed about anymore, and I'm grateful that at least I've gotten to that place where I can claim it and tell people. So from the get-go, there's some level of understanding of why I am or why I might be the way I might be. But a lot of the times, I don't even realize that that's why I am the way I am. Other people might recognize it more than I do. So if that makes any sense, if you have a similar story, or if your story is just beginning because for some reason your coping mechanisms are no longer working and you've hit a wall in terms of what you've been doing to make your life manageable, or you've always had an unmanageable level, an unmanageability in your life, and now you're just finally able or willing to face that. I think it's a lot easier to do that, to face the unmanageable with others. I think it's hard to do that alone. It might even be impossible. Sometimes holding up a mirror is not enough. Having someone who can see us and reflect back our experience really helps, because we see in them, oh, I do that. Or we hear from them, I do that. And we feel validated, and we feel that we're not alone in the world. So, yeah, that's all for now. I do hope that you all will respond in the chat with a hello and anything else you want to share. I look forward to communicating with you and posting again.